that was super fun. Lots of waiting.
Yeah, you got your rental car or what?
Wait.
Yo, hey, whoa, what's up? Normally I'm not here yet. Normally I'm not the first person on the screen. Let's go to this one. What's up, Mo? Mo, my man. My man, Mo. What is up? Cheers. So you got your rental car?
Yeah. Is it you?
No one's in there yet. Nobody cares if you got your rental car. Can you put on some Frank Sinatra? What up? Yeah, we can put on some Frank Sinatra for you. Why not? What's up, Hobby? Yesy? Mr. Arif? The Tech? What is up? I got my glasses here. What's up? How are you today, Eve? Caribbean Crypto Show. I like it. I like the name. What's up, something clever? How are you guys today? SBI live for the public. That's right. SBI went live today. SBI's live. That's the big news. That's the big news. Oh, you guys can't see me. Hey, what's up? Cheers. Cheers. What's up? I've got my glasses. I'm ready. For blast off. XRP number 1. Great 588 video. Thank you so much, something. Thank you so much, something clever. I took my time. I figured you guys might like that. There's a lot of good edits on that one. A lot of good edits. Took the time to make some of my favorites. What were my favorites? The bear vid is epic. Thank you, Javi. Yeah, I really like the started from the bottom. That was a good one. The started from the bottom with Mr. Bearable's head. That was good. The best friends one. The best friends one was my favorite edit, probably. The one with me trying to reach the facts on the top shelf, and Bearable guy picks me up and holds me up there, and then it's like, best friends! That's a funny clip. That's a funny edit. What it do? How's it going, guys? Cheers. How are we feeling today? Yes, oh yes. The boost. That's right. Everyone needs a boost sometimes. Also, the first edit, the creepy one, with the naked Plato, the naked like guy that turns back and he's like, "Hey guys, don't call it Ripple anymore." I took some time with that one. It was fun. Yeah, BG got me. I also got the support. Bearable guy supported me, or whoever his new channel is. They said, "You a funny guy." they supported the video. They commented on it. They supported it. Andrea thinks that's funny. Rocket ships being fueled. That's right. What's the news today? I was thinking about this earlier. I was going to put on some nice classical music while we were chatting today in the background. I just had a Frank Sinatra suggestion, so maybe we'll play some Frank Sinatra later too. Oh yeah, we don't want to get any copyright infringement though, so it'll be very low in the background maybe. Anyway, how's it going? How are you guys feeling today? What's going on? What's up, Mitch? How are you? How are you today? So SBI went live. That was the big headline probably today. The world's first bank-backed crypto exchange finally opened to the public. SBI going live. Probably the first time a lot of people have even heard of this. So I know we've been waiting for it since the announcement back in 2016 that it was going to happen. In October of 2016, they made the public announcement that they were going to head this direction. So it's been a while, almost 2 years of waiting. This is big news. Everyone's kind of been touting this is the big thing to happen, and the big thing that's coming our way. So it's exciting to look at. You know, like right away when I saw that go live today, the first thing I did was race over and look at the volume per coin and see if we had any huge volume spikes. Putting XRP in the 260 million 24-hour volume still. So looking like it's up maybe a little bit, but I don't think this is actually probably even a respective representation of what's happened yet. So looking at tomorrow maybe, or later today, seeing some volume increase or seeing some potential volume movement on XRP, putting it at least above Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. Again, looking at the coins by market cap, you have only XRP and Bitcoin Cash above a 2% return inside 24 hours. So that's pretty strong, honestly, and pretty exciting right away. I think that's really good news.
Set up a way to have a pathway for the deluge of noobs coming, please.
Clara B. What's up, B? How are you? Cheers. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. It's good to see you. I'm happy to have you in the live stream. How are you today? Help me set up a way to have a pathway for the noobs coming in. I think that's a great idea. That's a great point to make. And I think one of the things that I like the most about the Bearable Guy recently, and I didn't even include this in the video, was his new website, the XRP video website. It's a very good place for resources. I was going to do a more serious video, kind of like shouting his website out and his videos as a resource. And that's also kind of why I made the What is XRP video, trying to really break it down enough to where I could actually send it to my own grandma and say, like, look, this is what we're all getting excited about. So yeah, that's a good idea. And I think that even the Discord group that someone put together, like an XRP community Discord, and there's everyone in it. Everyone's in the group. Everybody. I mean, everybody is in the group in XRP. So that might be an interesting way just to invite them to it. I'm not sure who runs that. I think it's Crypto SB and Dre. I think Dre Ventures is a guy. He's another YouTuber maybe that I just became aware of the other day. So I think they're the admins of the Discord group, the XRP Discord group. So I'm not sure, but I think it's open to everybody. I think anybody can go in there and participate in the conversation. So that also might be a good way to send someone to a XRP thing. Yeah, welcome to XRP community. I like that idea. That's a good idea. And I think that potentially, I think that's potentially really what is important, is us having the ability to invite people in and have a conversation and invite them to take part in this evolution, in this revolution. They just opened up trader registration. The KYC, know your customer, will take several days. Volume won't start picking up for another week or two, says TC Crypto. So I kind of suspected that. I did not expect necessarily volume to uptick today, but I did go check right. I did go check right away. Like, oh, maybe. I do also agree. Expect it to take a while. Kind of like Coinbase when they had a moment where there was like 100,000 new registered users a day, and of course they had to kind of put the floodgates on and just take them as they could. So yeah, KYC will take a minute, and still looking at, we're not even above 300 billion. We're still not above 300 billion in market cap, but still looking at this, potentially looking at these as indicators to the rest of the market, what that means for other big companies who are looking to stay relevant. You know, looking at the Japanese financial giant SBI is something that we've been aware of for a while, but it's easy to really see how most people probably haven't been having this conversation. They aren't really aware of the reality of this first bank-backed crypto exchange finally open. So we can talk about that more at the end of the video if you want. And again, referenced in another article, SBI virtual currency begins accepting new users and goes live. Also really exciting news today on the IBM and Stellar announcement. That was something that kind of surprised people, I think, today, was the IBM helping launch a price-stable cryptocurrency issued by the FDIC, and they're claiming that they're going to try to do it with Stellar, with Stellar's Lumens. So IBM backs new US dollar pegged stablecoin that runs on Stellar network. Possibly one of the bigger things to happen, even though I know that SBI going live is really big. This is kind of interesting because I know we've all been positioning ourselves against Stellar slightly each time Jeb makes a mistake or each time news comes out about the transparency issues with
You're really giving up on 20K or just appeasing people?
I would never give up. I would never give up. Jake, thank you so much for the contribution. Jake, I appreciate it. Cheers. Thanks for the support. Yeah, I'm pretty much appeasing people. That's a good question, and I feel comfortable saying yes, I'm appeasing people, mainly just because just like the Plato's cave parable talks about, I don't want to be killed or hung for coming back and trying to, you know, what kind of question is that? Crypto T says, "Are you serious? What kind of question is that?" Make an impression of old man saying, "We're gonna lose our money." Make an impression of bitching old man saying, "We're gonna lose our money." Okay, normally I'm not here just to entertain you, but I will. Oh, you're just gonna lose your money, you darn kids in crypto. You just keep throwing your money in it. It's gonna fail. It's a bubble. How's that? How? Oh, darn you kids! How's that? Yeah, thanks for that opportunity. Get off my lawn, pricks. Yeah, so I really don't know. Honestly, 100%, I do not know. The spread between 588 and 20K is obviously pretty big. The point being really is that we don't know. My point being, I don't know. Looking at how much money could go in. Someone emailed me this morning and they're like, "Your math's wrong. Your math's wrong. It would take $58 trillion inflow to get to this amount of money." And I looked at their math and I was like, no, no. Wherever you are, person emailing me, I'm sorry. I really like your contribution and your effort, but no. He basically was suggesting that my math was wrong and I didn't understand how much money needed to go into crypto for blah, blah, blah. And someone else said, well, Brad Garlinghouse said 5, or whatever price XRP would be at if 120 billion inflow went into it or something. And I don't remember exactly what the quote was or what the person said the comment was. But in reality, looking at it, my predictions have been using the current market spread. So that means BTC dominance is still the way I've been doing the calculations. So I made predictions with the spread how it is right now. And what that means is that someone was like, well, what if all the money goes into XRP? Well, that's not the way we did it. Okay, we didn't do it that way. Okay, I didn't do the price prediction that way. And honestly, the math just gets really hard. It gets really skewed. It's all over the place. Looking at the inflow, projected market cap, possibility return, how much the price of one XRP could be. At the same time as you're looking at, like, what about the dollar failing? You're like, what if the dollar falls so much in value or other nation-state fiats fall so much in value that then, it would be 20K per XRP, but not because it'd be 20K per XRP. You follow me? Are you following what I'm saying here? Like, all these metrics are skewed. All these metrics are moving up and down. It's like trying to measure something with a moving ruler. It's kind of hard. So I like to play the game and see how high I can go, but I really don't know. I did not necessarily change anything about the way I arrived at my high price prediction. I didn't change any of that information. I didn't necessarily include it. You know what I mean? Like, some of the things that I included in my 588, I didn't include some things in my 588 that may have been included in other videos. But that basically means, like, we don't know. I don't know if they're going to put all the derivatives into XRP. I don't know if they're going to put all the global coin and global currency into XRP. And the calculations we did, we didn't do the calculations with all the money heading directly into XRP. We did the calculations with all the money that we did heading into crypto in general. And that would mean that BTC still has dominance, Ethereum still has dominance over XRP, and XRP still in third position, and it still got ranked really high, or it still had that much potential per XRP with the inflow. So the math gets really hard to do because we're looking at the shifting position of the coins, we're looking at the shifting position of the inflow, what these coins could actually be paired to do, etc., etc. So I'm still really excited. I mean, looking at looking at the Rockefellers, I was looking at the history this morning of the Rockefellers, or is it Rothschild? Which one? Whichever one was basically tied to Standard Oil. I was looking at that this morning and doing some reading. You know, some of the biggest families of wealth literally originated from Standard Oil, from the development of Standard Oil, and that means a lot. It means a lot, basically. Imagine like Ripple Labs playing that role moving forward. You know, like the Federal Reserve is it's a private company. It's a Federal Reserve, but it's a private company. What would that mean for Ripple Labs to kind of step into that kind of relationship? What would it mean for Ripple Labs to step into running that type of relationship with the government? So that's interesting to look at. And then looking at this literally leads us back to what we're talking about. The IBM backs new US dollar pegged stablecoin. And everyone wants to figure out how to make a stablecoin. And the thing is they're going to have to make it, and they're going to have to convince people it's legit. They're going to have to be like, look, we're using this metric and this metric and this metric, and this is how it works. It's fine. So you can see probably this is one of the bigger things. I know SBI going live is big for us, and we're excited about it. But looking at this, look at this news coming out about IBM using Stellar's network to possibly facilitate their stablecoin with an issued 1-to-1 price ratio for the US dollar. I would not be surprised for them to play with this idea and also still scrap it. Again, not really, no one's really sure where this is headed. No one's really sure where this is headed. A stablecoin used as a frictionless digital proxy for fiat, it could eliminate both variables and potentially be a very big role on improving costs. So the idea that stablecoin projects pegged to national fiat currencies other than the US dollar would be of value to IBM's blockchain integration. And IBM is also reportedly partnered with Columbia University to open the Columbia IBM Center for Blockchain and Transparency, which offers students IBM internships and joint research opportunities. So we can see right here, stablecoins have been basically gaining traction. Stablecoins are very, very sought after to understand and create because of the issues with this transition. We're literally in a transition of dying nation-state fiats and the emergence of digital, cryptocurrencies. And looking at the One World Currency article we covered from 1988, what are they talking about with this year, 2018, the emergence of a one world currency, looking at the idea for them to tokenize the global economy. Right here, Money Conference in Dublin last month, talking about tokenizing the global economy. So, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about the tokenizing the global economy, putting pegged stable coins with Stellar? What does that mean for XRP? Well, we know that XRP's ILP protocol is still the primary payment rail that I think everyone's going to be focused on using and participating in. So even if they do create a stable coin and we have a bunch of different nation states with pegged stable coins, they still have to be able to interoperably communicate with each other and exchange, and that's where the ILP comes in. Looking at, there's definitely something happening here. People are moving this direction, and the fact that people, big names, George Soros or like the Rockefellers, or big names in traditional money, they know their influence is real. They know that as soon as they publicly move into this direction, people will follow them, and so they will probably enter this space silently. They will probably enter this space silently, take their position, and then let the public know, hey, we're going to probably we're probably going to embrace this. We're probably going to embrace this technology or this coin or this company. And you can look at like a lot of I say this a lot, but it's like Game of Thrones out here. It's like Game of Thrones. They're taking positions, they're forming alliances, they're trying to position themselves to be in a dominant role. And what that means with their partnerships and who they align themselves with is only speculation right now. We can only say speculation basically is all we have. So, we can see that big companies have entered into here, and you can see that basically people want to not be left behind. They want to be not left behind. That's right. Nobody wants to get left behind. A Lannister always pays his debts. I just saw that right as I was like looking up at the comments. Exactly. Lannister always pays his debts. What are you guys chatting about? So what do you guys think about this stablecoin? I haven't looked over here in a minute. What is up? What's up? Hey June, how are you? Javi says, bet me 590. Riptide says, until utilitarian comes into play, crypto is nothing more than trading digital baseball cards. Maybe. Maybe. Long-term price predictions based on fiat is tricky. It could be 20K someday, but the equivalent of purchasing power could be $100 in today's dollar. Exactly. Thank you, TC Crypto. It's true. It's very, very just shooting into the dark at that point. We can see what's happening. We can see that it's going to be strong. We can see the emergence of a company. You look at Ripple Labs. It's a company that literally has emerged that they're worth billions of dollars and they have zero debt. I saw someone tweet that this morning and it makes sense. Like, what company could you find that's worth billions, zero debt? And would you want to support them? Yes. Free American Spirit, saw that, one of the headlines today. I don't know if you saw it when I was scrolling through it or not, but yeah, that's Dogecoin on Robinhood is one of the headlines today. It's true. That's pretty funny.
I like wrestling excitable manatees in a paddling pool full of disembodied breasts. I'm sure Brendan does too.
Thank you, thank you so much, Clara B, for the support. I appreciate your support. It means a lot, and thank you for making the public aware of my hobbies. Battling pool of disembodied breasts. Yes, it's true. I do like wrestling. It's all about the oxytocin, you know. What is the function of this coin? That's a good question. Moonboy Prime basically said, what's the function of the coin? The function of these stable coins is to give them a pegged stable currency. So looking at like Tether, basically, Tether is supposed to be this, but people say it's not. They say that they're just kind of printing money. Looking at how would you develop a stable coin? This is a real issue. And if you can figure it out, if you can theorize this and suggest it, people will probably pay you lots of money. But how would you create a stable coin? What are the metrics that go into the price of the coin, the volatility of the coin? How does it work? How is the metrics of a stable coin work? And that's what they're trying to decide. That's what they're trying to decide. What is the value pegged to? What affects the value? How does it go up and down? Is it a zero-sum game? Is the value coded in? Is it a coded store of value like cryptocurrencies, etc.? So that's potentially a big thing. That's a big thing for them. Looking at how to develop that, I personally have a couple ideas. Especially like if you're a nation state and you're developing a nation state fiat, probably you would tie in a lot of like the metrics for your nation, right? The idea basically, of creating the metrics that would support why the price would go up and down based off of your stable coin.
Did you see that the Libra rates were compromised? Thanks for the news, KFN.
Motorbike Bias. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Motorbike Bias. I have not seen this. The Libra rates were compromised. I'm going to go look that up right now because of your support and your encouragement. Let's go find out what that means. I don't really know what I'm looking for here. Okay, so the London Interbank Offered Rate changed their rates. Is that what you're saying? That the rates were compromised? So you're saying this is basically the benchmarks for financial stability, and they change their rates. That's definitely something I should be aware of, and I should look into this. Click on the news tab on the Google search. I just did it. I did it within past 24 hours, and there was not anything. The rates were manipulated. I did it within the last week. So I did news within the last month. Oh, here we go. Okay, I think definitely this is something that we will include today. Let's look at this today. We'll look at this in a minute. Thank you for including that. Thank you for letting me know. So IBM wanting to develop a stablecoin. Why would they want to was the question. Basically, it gives them literally a pairing, a stable pegged token that they can use. So what are we looking at next in the docket really quick is Robinhood adds support for Dogecoin. That's right, Robinhood added Dogecoin. If you guys haven't already seen the Robinhood app, it's a zero commission trading platform. So literally, it looks like this. And they added crypto. Or wait, they have a chat in here, and they added a couple different cryptos. So you can see they added all of these in. They have all these in here: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. They're still calling XRP Ripple, so you can get Ripple in here. Quantum, Ethereum Classic, Stellar, Neo, Zcash, Monero, Dash. All these, I have a link in the description where you can sign up for Robinhood, and it gives you a free $5 stock, and then you can sell the stock and buy crypto if you want. So they just added Dogecoin, and I thought that was actually really interesting to look at. Robinhood offering Dogecoin. People have said Robinhood's trying to step towards Coinbase offering commission-free, zero commission trading under a certain amount. And why they added Dogecoin is probably one of the more interesting things to me. Dogecoin, people think it's a joke. People obviously really just happy to throw FUD on any coin out there. But Dogecoin, I'm pretty sure, is a joke. Dogecoin is pretty much one of the ones that everyone just is agreed on. It's a joke coin, but it's on Robinhood. So they just listed Dogecoin on Robinhood. I don't know what the move is. I don't know what the move is for that. But I have the app. I've had that app forever. And hey, I'm back. Whoa, hey yo. And I've had that app forever. I just saw that they added that today. I thought that was kind of funny. So, newbies will buy Dogecoin, and it'll tumble. That's funny. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully that people don't lose money. I do not like it when people lose money, even if it's on Dogecoin. So, no big deal. Dogecoin on Robinhood. You guys can join it and get a free $5. The Cointelegraph also doing the article on IBM backs new US dollar pegged stablecoin that runs on Stellar Network. Looking at, this is a big thing. Tokenizing the global economy. It's probably another year or so of just that same conversation, tokenizing the global economy. No big deal. Still with the SBI going live today, what are we looking at for Ripple price analysis? Ripple price primed for gains? Question mark. Time for our protective eyewear. We don't want this to shoot to the moon and have anything get in our eyes. Okay, so it's protecting us from the explosive qualities of XRP. Ripple price upward move. We've seen a lot of movement in the upward direction in the last few days, but I'm not really sure it's the guaranteed bull run that we've been waiting for. That 6,800 resistance, exactly. Moonboy's right. That 6,800 resistance is really rough. And I saw a chart analyst breaking it down, and they were suggesting, don't take my word for it, but they were suggesting that if we can't break out of 6,800, we might see below 6. We might see some high fives. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? 47 cents for an XRP. A little Koteas update. Koteas update. We were doing the 28-day Koteas update. How much money can you make, etc., etc. And with Koteas, still doing pretty good. Koteas is about, I think they got like maybe 200 contracts running a day, and honestly, not very profitable. And I know we didn't build our Koteas hosts for them to be profitable. I know, but I'm just saying it's not profitable. I've probably spent about $100 in. I've probably spent about $100, and I've earned about 0.75 an XRP. I've spent about $100 to earn 1 XRP from processing contracts for people on Koteas. Now, I'm not saying I'm doing this for money. I'm not saying I'm doing this for money, but you're definitely not making money. You know, I definitely built out the platform. I built out Koteas and launched it knowing that the network's growing, knowing that basically everyone is going to probably be building out and waiting for the network to take off. But it's not profitable yet. I made about 1 XRP from being live, for running it for like 2 weeks or so. My big one, my 18 gigabyte host. So it's not profitable, and that's the report. That's the report. We're gonna do a whole video about it. Not profitable. Koteas hosts not profitable. I made about 47 cents and spent about $100. Spent about $100. I could have bought 200 XRP. I could have purchased 200 XRP for that same amount. Yo, what's up? What is up, Clara? What are you guys talking about? Pew pew! Right after 19K. That's how it'll go. Moon rocks. I don't even know what that's a reference to, but just moon rocks. Kung Fu make Doug a mod. What's up, CK? How are you? Where's Doug? Who is Doug? Douglas Rosales? Is that who you're talking about? You're talking about Douglas Rosales? Are you talking about Douglas Rosales? The thing about mods is that they always remove my haters. I kind of like my haters. I like people to show up and think that they can... People always show up and they think that they can control you. That's their control device. They're like, I'm going to try to control you by saying mean things at you, or I'm going to try to control you by, whatever control device they're used to. You know, they try to control you with their hate and their FUD. I don't mind. I think that we need those people to show up and have a conversation and listen to us, and us to listen to them, and that's important. I think that's important for us to have a conversation with them. So I like mods, but I feel like they ban people too quick. You want to be a mod? Clara B wants to be a mod. You know, why not? I like you, Clara B. Let's make you a mod. Where are you at? Where's your comment? Boom. Mod for you. Mods for everybody. Mods for everybody. You purchased mouth tape yesterday. Cool. Very cool. Give it a try. You checked my video out, I guess. Giving away mod power. You want mod power too? Pick you. Pick you. Okay, I'll give you mod power. Mo's first to the stream today gets mod power. Gets mod power. Don't make me a mod, Douglas says. Okay, Douglas, just because you said not to. Just because you said not to. I won't. I won't. What is up? What is up? Okay, so let's get back to the news. We'll make some more mods in a second. You guys can all be mods. You guys can all mod each other. International Finance Watchdog in surprise Bitcoin backing as it reveals crypto stock take. Interesting. Looking at this bank supervision, which is part of the FSB gathering data on member banks' direct and indirect exposure to cryptocurrencies. I watched an interview yesterday, basically saying that people are not interested in crypto. It was one of the presidents or the CEO of I think it was BlackRock or whatever that big investment, the asset hedge fund from yesterday was saying that their consumers are actually not interested in crypto at all. And basically that kind of means specifically that he's lying. No, I'm just kidding. He said that, though. He said that on an interview. He said they're not interested in crypto. You can see them basically posturing that they're not interested in crypto, even though they're building out custodial services for crypto. Looking at Ripple price to move upward, how do we get XRP to price to move upward? With this article suggesting that we're really just waiting for these trend lines, and they're still kind of paired to BTC. So BTC sinking, BTC having resistance at 6,800. We're still seeing XRP doesn't have enough fiat pairing to basically break free. So we don't have enough XRP to fiat pairing, and SBI will help with that. SBI will definitely help with that for sure with their exchange. So that's potentially just something you have to wait and see. And then IBM's initiative to move forward with the fintech startup Stronghold for their one-to-one. Just looking at stronghold.co. This is their website, buy and sell digital currencies. Interesting approach they have for their Stronghold USD private beta, an asset-backed USD token on a distributed ledger technology. So you can see that they're trying to make this work. They're trying to basically make this work. Whether it will or not, it's hard to say. No one's successfully created a stablecoin yet. So IBM testing stablecoin is probably one of the bigger things to happen. Also in the news, Boeing to develop blockchain-enabled unmanned vehicles in new partnership. So a Texas-based Spark Cognition, a company which Boeing invested $32 million last month, is working on the aviation giant platform. It's going to track unmanned air vehicles and allocate flight corridors. So that's pretty exciting. Coming just days before the UK's annual Farnborough Air Show. Good times indeed. The IT giant Oracle confirms general release of blockchain cloud services. So Oracle's blockchain cloud service focuses on transaction efficiency and supply chain authentication using Hyperledger Fabric. So looking at, this is one of those private blockchain consortiums looking to release the possibility for blockchain to be used by these corporations and private companies. They're not paired to XRP, they're not paired to crypto, they're not paired to anything other than their own shareholders. So, interesting there. That's interesting for sure. Look at the Koteas host today. I just had this up because I was looking at it earlier. You can see we have a lot of active hosts. We're up, active hosts up, and up contracts. We're above 328 contracts, so that's still pretty good. Looking at, probably just a continual increase on our contracts. Did you guys also know that Coinbase and Peter Thiel were looking at a stablecoin? This was something we covered a while ago, and it was just a slight reference we made when it happened. But stablecoins are a real big deal. Okay? People want a stablecoin. Why do they want a stablecoin? Because they want to trust it. It scares them that it's literally a coded store of value. So there's like a paradox occurring, right? A stablecoin is just fixed price because they decided it's that price, and it's not paired, it's not interconnected with the world market. So like that's how the dollar stays a dollar here in the States, but it's not a dollar outside the States, right? It's not a dollar on the Forex market. It's whatever it is. So there's an issue. There's a paradox basically that's occurring where it's like, how do you code in a coded store of value and make it stable? It's like those two things don't really go together, right? They don't really work at the same time. So you can see people are looking at how to do this. I have some ideas for how it would be done. it's probably not the most exciting conversation. But stablecoin cryptocurrency project Reserve is backed by Coinbase and Peter Thiel. So you can see Coinbase and Peter Thiel trying to develop a stablecoin. You got IBM and Stellar trying to develop a stablecoin, and they're not the only ones. They're not the only ones. Why not use fiat for stable currency? Because fiat, it's a good question. It's a good question. Basically, when you look at the Fed's role in fiat creation, and you look at the derivative, fractional reserve banking, and the possibility for people to manipulate that, fiats are easy. The fiats are easy for nation states to agree how they can work, but I don't think that they're very easy for people to agree on as a world currency, right? So we're looking at how do you get a pegged stable coin? How does it work outside your nation state? How does it stay stable, interacting in world markets? These are big questions, and these are things that, again, like we said before, they're looking at we looked at this in the One World Currency. We've looked at this in Ripple's protocol video, the ILP, the Interledger protocol, and all these different emerging administrations or emerging regulatory bodies. So, who's the Fed? Who's the Fed? It's a private company. And who's the FDIC? They're private companies that were started to play a regulatory role in the monetary policies of the United States. And what does that mean for Ripple Labs? What does that mean for other big companies like that? Could you see Ripple Labs be the future Fed? Could you see Ripple Labs be the future branch or arm of the FDIC, etc. like that, etc. like that? So this is obviously a big conversation, and people are looking at it, and it's going to take some time for people to figure out what's happening. And maybe it'll never work. Maybe it'll never be a solution. But look at this article that we were suggested by Motorbike Bias, the how to get away with financial fraud. And this is kind of highlights what we're talking about. I think this, I'm not sure because I haven't read the article, but this kind of highlights the transition we're in. The possibility that we're moving away from these lackadaisical systems with arbitrary blind authority. And really think about it. I saw a tweet from Elon Musk the other day that was like, chain of command is a waste of time. I think often in corporations, people follow chain of command, right? Don't talk to your superior's superior. You talk to just your superior. And Elon Musk is like, well, that's a waste of time. If you can send a message to someone and not waste someone else's time, then do it. That's great. He's all about removing basically chain of commands like blind obedience to authority. We don't need blind obedience to authority. It does not serve us anymore. Blind obedience to authority is not serving us. It's possibly one of the issues we have today as a society. And looking at the trust and authority and governance issue, that's really what we're looking at, is the trust, authority, and governance issue. So look at this article. Just a quick run through for what they're talking about. Looking at basically this case marked the beginning of a new process for regulators. Looking at a UK financial service authority was fined $200 million to the U.S. Commodity Future Trading Commission and a further $160 million to the U.S. Department of Justice. Basically, they got slapped on the wrist. They got turned around and caught basically manipulating the LIBOR rate fixing scandal is what it is. The swashbuckling chief executive of Barclays had been called before the committee to explain exactly what his bank had been playing at in regards to the LIBOR rate fixing scandal. The day before his appearance, he'd made things very much worse by seeming to accuse the deputy governor of the Bank of England of ordering him to fiddle an important benchmark, then walking back to the accusation as soon as it was challenged. So you can see a lot of this coming to light. A lot of this, the issues with the current global financial systems and what's happening here. Honestly, we've looked at something like this before, where we see like exchanges have the option of either one, waiting for regulatory clearance and then moving forward slowly, or two, just it's like the run and gun technique, where you just go for it, you're just shooting forward, you do whatever, and then you turn around, you know, and you say, sorry, I'll pay my fines for whatever damages I've done. So there's two different ways to approach it: the run and gun, or the cautious, slow approach. So you can see that a lot of these systems are run and gun. A lot of systems are run by just moving forward, seeing if you can make it work, and then turning around and paying for the fines later. Kind of like it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for approval. So no one's asking for approval. These financial authorities and the financial regulators, no one's asking for approval. They're just trying to make it work and then look back and then pay their fines. They're literally going to just turn around and pay their fines and just move forward, hoping that the slap on the wrist doesn't hurt them too much. And you can see that this is kind of where we are right now with the emergence of stablecoins, with the emergence of crypto, all these different things. People are looking at how to run and gun it. How can they run and gun it without completely messing it up? I was looking at something earlier too, talking about the 1920 financial crisis, and it was interesting to look at it's a housing bubble from the 1920s, and it talks about the cycle of the housing bubble in the 1920s was really interesting to look at. It comes in waves. Where is this article? So I was looking at this earlier this morning, the Great American Real Estate Bubble of the 20s, the causes and the consequences. And it was interesting to look at these figures from the crashes of the 1920s and the emerging bubble, as they call it, these bubbles of the housing market and what that means moving forward. And people still calling Bitcoin and crypto a bubble and what that means. I thought that a couple of these graphs were really interesting, comparing some real estate booms from 1923, 1987, and 2004. This was really interesting, possibly just because you can see the cyclical nature of these systems. And each time they had a boom and then a collapse like that, they said it was the last time. They said, well, we figured it out. It's the last time, basically. It's the last time that we will have this error, right? It's the last time we'll have this whole thing fall apart. And you can see this it's just not true. They just don't know. They just don't know how it's working. And so I'll have to look at this article more, the LIBOR scandal that was suggested. But you can see that basically these money makers and the money marketers of the world, like looking at the Rothschild and Rockefeller families that have been running the world for so long. Like I looked at the history of how he made money in the first place, and it was with his company Standard Oil. The company Standard Oil was the company that really put him on the scene. And at some point in the nation's history, he had like 2% of the nation's wealth was his. But what does that mean? Like looking at Ripple Labs right now, looking at the people in Ripple Labs, like who is Chris Larson going to be the next Rockefeller? They're gonna, in like 100 years, they're going to be like, oh, the Larson family, or whoever else is like some of the big holders of XRP. And you can look and see like a lot of this is reactionary, right? A lot of law and a lot of regulation is reactive. It means that it's not preemptive. They're not building out laws and regulations preemptively. They're not thinking like, let's build this regulation and law for when this happens in a year. Most laws and regulations are reactive, meaning that they wait for something to happen and they turn around and they try to say, well, no, this can't happen this way. And so you can see a lot of these governing bodies are trying to figure out a lot of things right now. They're trying to figure out how stablecoins work, They're trying to figure out how cryptocurrencies can be paired with the tokenizing global economy, etc. And I think that we're still so early in on this developing technology that the best thing we can do is just keep paying attention to the news, paying attention to the information that's being provided, and really trying to sort through these relationships and alliances that are being formed. What's the possibility that, you know, that they still try to you know, maintain some type of global government regulatory body? That's important, I think. I think, of course, they're going to try to do that. How would you do that? How would you do that with a decentralized currency? And, you know, looking at the revolution or the evolution of governance here, you know, like, how does that work? It's very interesting to consider. So the big news of the day with looking at the SBI going live and Stellar IBM launching a stablecoin. So SBI going live, they are open. I can't make an account because I'm not in Japan. But if you had a VPN, maybe you could. If you had a VPN, maybe you could try. I think the site's in Japanese, though. So I was not able to do much on the site. But looking at this for a big indicator to the rest of the world, you can see that people around the world, if this makes sense for a bank, if a bank/crypto exchange makes money this way, the world's first bank-backed crypto exchange, if it makes money, if it does a good job, basically functioning on top of the XRP ledger, like, you could see a lot of potential here. You could see them in a year putting in their profit, making their profit public, and people being like, whoa, look, they built out their entire bank and exchange on top of XRP, and look how much money they saved. Look how much you know, more money they made than this other exchange that didn't do that. And so that's something to look forward to. That's something to be excited about, I think, and what potentially that means for crypto, for XRP. So, Motorbike Bias, you were saying something about how this article could be related to XRP and Koteas and the world's financial systems using XRP and Koteas. So I'll have to go through and look at that and read these articles so I can understand what you're suggesting there. And then, again, if you guys forgot, the Robinhood added Dogecoin. You guys can get into Dogecoin on the Robinhood app. No big deal. No big deal. What style Kung Fu do you practice? What style do you practice? That depends on the day, I guess. I know a couple different styles, and sometimes I just goof around. Sometimes I just do strength training. Sometimes I'll do a specific style. I like doing Tai Chi Chuan a lot. I like Tai Chi Chuan. I like Bagua. I like Xing Yi. I grew up learning Wei Che De Yu, so the San Chen was my first real form. But what about you? Lucid States, do you practice Kung Fu as well? You're a Wing Chun. You're a Wing Chunner? Nice, dude. I like it. I like it. Wing Chun's cool. Get to chain those punches, bro. None of these big articles mention XRP. That's true, Big Lenny. That's true. None of these articles do mention XRP. And what's really funny is that we know the world's first bank-backed crypto exchange finally opens to the public. We know they built it on top of XRP. Actually, it does say it right here. In its June launch, the VC Trade announced it will initially support trading of Japanese yen against XRP, the native token of the Ripple protocol. So having a XRP to yen pairing going live today, basically. That's pretty big. That's really big, actually. That's what you want. You want XRP to live pairing. XRP to live pairing with a fiat is really strong. And that's good for SBI to do that. To do that for us. I love Wang Chang. My husband is an animal style practitioner. Bear, mantis, mongoose. Nice. I love mantis. I know a couple mantis style forms that I really like. I know some bear Xingyi and Qigong, but I don't know any bear Kung Fu. That's very cool. That'd be very, very cool to know more about the bear style, mongoose style too. Cool, very cool actually. I like it. Yeah, Kung Fu's what's up. Chi Sao, Chi Sao says the Wing Chun practitioner. I do not know Tai Xing Pequar or Bak Mei. I do not know those styles. Is that one style? Tai Xing Pequar? Bak Mei? Is Bak Mei the style Pai Mei Teat? Isn't that the Pai Mei style from Kill Bill? Or no? I don't know. So the SBI going live today. Everyone's been waiting for this to release and happen, and now it's here. It's on our doorstep. I saw someone doing a chart breakdown for crypto, and they were saying that we have a strong time resistance on Bitcoin, and that 6,800 has been hard for us to break through, and possibly we'll slip lower in the next week. We'll have a big move, whether it's up or down, I don't know. I know, very helpful, right? Very helpful. Oh, a big move. Oh, a big move. Oh, you have no idea which way it's going to go. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Any idea what the SEC is meeting about tomorrow? The SEC meeting is not. I do not have any knowledge about that, but I would say that I wouldn't expect them to make any announcements. I would not expect any real big announcements unless they're announcing something with Coinbase licenses and securities, which that's one of the videos that we were going to do too, talking about. That's one. So we didn't even cover that today in the live stream at all, and we didn't even talk about it yesterday. We haven't put a video out about it, but Coinbase opening up. Basically, Coinbase acquired a couple companies that gives them access to list securities now, so they can list securities. Literally, just got approved for that. Literally, just got approved for that. Jordan Howell is telling everyone, guys, beware. CKJ and I are giving you guys bad advice. Tell me more, Jordan. Tell me more. Tell me more. We're really intrigued, Jordan. You have all of our attention. What exactly are you suggesting, Jordan? Tell us more. So yeah, Coinbase literally having the approval to list securities. But what's really funny about that is they made a tweet. Their tweet was like, we're going to possibly look at listing these 5 securities or these 5 tokens. And we can because we can. And the reality is they could list any of the 1,500 securities possibly. So every single ICO and ERC20 token of the like 1,500 out there, they could pick any of those. They could pick any of those. They're not guaranteeing they're going to possibly pick one of those 5 they named. They said we're looking at possibly picking one of these 5. Oh, maybe we'll pick it. Oh, maybe. Oh, I think. Oh, nope. Sorry, it didn't qualify. We looked at those 5, and actually they didn't qualify. We picked another 5 random. From the 1,500 that are on CoinMarketCap. We picked another different selection. So that was interesting to look at. Coinbase getting approved through their acquisitions. Basically, they bought a couple companies. The acquisitions were approved, and now they have the ability to license securities. I think it's one of the first companies to be able to do it, to be able to get that approval. Coinbase has the green light to list securities. So that's the video I was working on this morning. I was looking at making a whole video about it, and I didn't want to. I was like, no, I don't want to make a Coinbase video. They don't deserve a video. And then, of course, they get approved, green-lighted for the ability to list security tokens. So what does that mean? The FINRA, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, have approved recently revealed acquisition deals for currently regulated firms. Basically meaning that Coinbase acquired currently regulated firms, and it gives them immediate access to have the approval to list security tokens. Again, they made a tweet about those 5 tokens and saying we are considering these tokens, possibly considering looking at these tokens, and they have 1,500 tokens they could possibly choose from. So, Tim Bartlow, I've already made my case about Coinbase and XRP. Here's my case, guys. Everybody, listen up. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this back and forth. Okay, they're waiting to list XRP once they go public. Coinbase is not going to list XRP until they go public, and then they'll use XRP listing on their exchange to benefit their shareholders. So that's what's happening with Coinbase. Coinbase is not. They're not rivaling with XRP. Coinbase is only a business. They're looking at how to best benefit their business and how to make them the most money. At this point, I think that what it basically means is that they know XRP is really XRP knows that they're really sought after and that they're really strong, and they know Coinbase knows XRP's
KFN, your
ace in
advice
their
is
sleeve.
so bad you should be paid for it. Cool.
Oh, thank you so much, CKJ. I tried to turn it up as much as I could. KFN, your advice sucks. So bad you should be paid for it. Thank you. I appreciate the support. It means a lot, CKJ, especially from you. Yeah, exactly. Coinbase could possibly list it right now. You know, Coinbase is approved to list securities, so they could list it right now. But in reality, they'll probably wait till they go public, and then they'll list it to benefit their shareholders. It's a money game. It's all about the money. It's all about the monies. And even though I came into crypto because I was like, this looks like a revolutionary technology, and I want to get rich. I think a lot of people came into crypto and XRP and Bitcoin because they were like, oh, this is going to be a good space to invest in. And it still is that, but it's also looking like a really strong philanthropic opportunity. And philanthropic meaning the opportunity to give back, the opportunity to do something charitable and beneficial to others. And so, yeah, I think crypto has a really strong use case for transitioning and changing a lot of the global infrastructure. And what that means is that we potentially won't know until we look back. We won't know exactly how it's going to happen until we can turn around and look back. What's really funny too is the idea that all these companies are interested in participating in this infrastructure, but no one knows where it's going, right? No one knows how it's going to work or where we're headed, but they're very eager to participate, very eager to jump in and make sure they're not going to get left behind. So obviously Coinbase acquiring these companies, giving them the ability to list securities. They can pick between any 1,500 of the securities that is on CoinMarketCap, but we know they want XRP. They're going to wait until they're public to list it, I think, just to benefit their shareholders. So I think people are still kind of waiting for that to happen. Like, oh man, if only we could get on Coinbase, the price would skyrocket. If you guys are looking for a short return, return on your investment, then yes, Coinbase is a big deal to you. But if you look at people like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, or if you look at George Soros, people who are influencers in smart money, you don't want to sell out right as they're buying in. Like if you look and you see a couple of big influencers in smart money and smart investments start positioning themselves to move into that space, they're probably going to do it silently. They'd probably move into that space silently, and then after they're in the position they want to be in, they turn around and say, I moved into this space. I bought into Bitcoin, or I bought into XRP, or I started my own exchange. Because you can imagine George Soros is probably not going to just go start a Coinbase account. He's probably going to take positions in some of the bigger exchanges around the world or in the United States, etc. And also looking at like Jeff Bezos. How long did Jeff Bezos, keep trudging forward into the darkness as people laughed at his idea. Like, dude, no one's going to use this. No one's going to buy books on the internet. And then, boom, who's buying books on the internet? Everybody. Everybody's buying books on the internet. So, literally putting Barnes and Noble out of business. Out of business. So, yeah, what could you look at from a company like Ripple Labs that has $1 billion valuation? They have zero debt. They have relationships to global regulatory authorities, and they're talking about developing, partnerships with pretty much every big banking institution in the world. But what does this mean? What does this mean? Yeah, sure, Coinbase could list them tomorrow if they want to, but that's not a big deal. We're not looking for the tomorrow return. We're looking for the 7-year return in 10 years. 5, 10 years. That's when we're going to say, wow, I'm glad I got in early. That's when we're going to say, wow, I'm glad I paid attention to these emerging technologies and the partnerships they were developing. And I've talked smack about Stellar before, but looking at this IBM Stellar partnership, that looks really strong. It looks really strong. Possibly it is a good hedge or a diversification in your portfolio with XRP and Stellar originally being so closely tied together. I thought that that they have a pretty similar shadow they cast, but now looking like possibly there's a different trajectory and a different outcome for both those coins. And looking at that as kind of like a strong, it gives a good authority to both coins if they're both being used or being recognized and supported by the partnerships they're developing. So yeah, you can see possibly that we're all interested in the short-term return of the coins, basically as an indicator. Like, I want to see the coin go up right now because that is going to signal to me this is a strong coin. As the coin keeps dropping, it's hard to remind yourself the potential of the tech. Thunderbox! Thank you so much, Thunderbox. I like your name, Thunderbox. 2 pounds of support, I appreciate it. XRP to the moon! With one extra O. One extra O. Moon. I like it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Thunderbox. It means a lot. Kevin G as well. Kevin G with 5 pound support. I appreciate it. Kevin G, it means a lot. I appreciate your support, guys. I appreciate your contributions to the channel. Happy to be here. Happy to be researching this. And again, every time, just like I was saying, every time the price drops, it's kind of like, oh, we want those positive indicators. It's kind of like you want that positive incentive, like, okay, I made the right choice. XRP is going up. And it's hard when you buy into a coin and then watch it drop. And every single coin, no matter what coin you have been jumping into in the last 6 months, every coin has been dropping. And it's because of the pairing to BTC. It's because of the pairing that they've literally held a relationship to BTC for so long, and these altcoins, they've all lost price, and that's challenging. I think it's very challenging. Literally seeing something that you know is strong and then watching it drop. But again, reminding you guys, if you saw the stream yesterday, we were looking at how long did Warren Buffett, he kept acquiring shares of this failing company. The company was failing. Nobody thought it was going to do well. He kept buying in until he was like the majority shareholder, and the company basically repositioned, or he basically came out way ahead because he had faith in his investment. He had faith in his ability to spot emerging technologies and spot the potential use case, and that was potentially all that it took for him to make a really strong return. And I remember 3 or 4 years ago when I was looking at emerging technologies and looking at the potential return on investment for emerging technologies, and there's no better space to be in. There's really no better space to be in, and I think it's easy for us to see these partnerships are really strong indicators. Exactly like G-Man says, and like Douglas is dropping right there. Look at Goldman Sachs, look at Circle, look at Polynex, look at Bill Gates' charity, look at SBI. SBI just went live today, and they literally they built their exchange and bank on top of XRP. And that's something that I think we'll see a lot more of in the future. We'll see a lot more of that in the future, and people will start to understand the benefits of crypto, the benefits of coded stores of value, and even the benefits of XRP and the ILP. because, again, as everyone else has been building these siloed ecosystems, and again, I'm going to reference the Koteas video I haven't posted. It's just so dry. I made that 589 video, YXRP 589, and it's like popping and bright lights and fun, and then the Koteas, Stefan Thomas Koteas breakdown is literally just like his lecture with slides in the background. So it'll be a little bit different. I'll have to drop that. But again, referencing that video over and over again, the idea that XRP and ILP literally working to make an interoperable protocol for all the tokens. You know, like a lot of people, they're building their siloed blockchains, and they're saying like, well, you can use this siloed blockchain. It is interoperable with this other thing, or you can use this one technology to make it work. But XRP and the ILP working to make it so that there's a protocol layer for all the tokens to work through and for everything to work on top of, and looking at basically kind of like how the Fed or the FDIC became a regulatory body inside the United States. What does that mean for Ripple Labs? Could Ripple Labs become a private company inside of a regulatory body of a global governance? That's pretty... I know. It's hard to imagine these things, but imagine that we were in the 1900s and there was no global reserve yet. Imagine that we're in the 1900s and there's no FDIC yet. And then imagine like telling someone like, yeah, we're going to let a private company be the regulator of this federal banking institution. You know, no one would believe you. People would be like, nah, they're not going to go for that. They're not going to go for that. Well, guess what? That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. So possibly seeing a lot of changes taking place, a lot of governments and central authorities looking at how this could work for the world economy. How can we develop a stablecoin? Who develops a stablecoin? Who gets to control and regulate a stablecoin? These are the big questions. Stellar and IBM with their stablecoin project, and SBI with their first bank crypto exchange on XRP. Both of those are huge. Huge, so huge. World's first bank-backed crypto exchange finally opened to the public. So what does that really mean? Where are we at with this projected cycle? How long till we see a moonshot? That's what you guys keep asking. I see that question over here. How long till moon? When moon? Again, if you look at the influencers of smart money, basically, if you look at the influencers of investments, you know, waiting for them to make a public signal that they're going to move into crypto is going to be a strong indicator of when you want to at least wait till then. I would not sell out until at least smart money has made public their interest, and then they've moved in, and there's a FOMO run, and then we're at a new all-time high, and then people are saying, how did we ever think it was going to crash? How did we ever think it was going to not come back? Is probably what we'll be saying in about 6 months' time. I think in 6 months' time. Looking at like G20 summit, looking at like a 2 or 3 months out from SBI, looking at the emergence of the IMF Global Federal Task Force team that they're going to put together. What does all this mean, you say? What does all this mean? I'm excited to find out. I'm excited to find out. I'm excited just like you are to see what potential this holds. Someone yesterday said, like, what if XRP is a security and they deem it a security and then they try to let us trade it in for shares? There's so many what ifs. There's so many what ifs out there. Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know. But potentially we'll find out soon. Sooner than later, we'll find out when the moon run happens, what it means for the stable coins to be developed and pegged to nation-state fiats. And I know exactly like Andy's saying, the rulers of the world need to get their act together. That's pretty much what's happening is, they've been given an opportunity to create a one-world governance and a one-world central monetary authority, and I guarantee you they'll take it. I guarantee you they'll take this opportunity to create that. If it wasn't orchestrated and it just happened naturally, that'd be interesting to see. But I believe it was possibly orchestrated, seeing and referencing the 1988 article, The One World Currency, looking at the development of digital systems around the world, removal of analog systems, and basically, where are we headed? You know, where are we headed? It's a good question. It's good to pay attention. It's good to take notice of the shifting winds, right? How best to steer your ship than to take notice of the shifting winds. So, Goldman Sachs is appointing a crypto-friendly CEO, David Solomon. Very nice. Mr. Pace, that's good news. That's good news. Exactly, yeah. That's one of those things that, Douglas, you're right. I feel like it's one of those moments where institutional money keeps saying they're not going to be interested in crypto as they're quietly positioning themselves to get the best deal on crypto. So we all know how that game goes. Potentially looking at the use case for cryptocurrencies, the coded store of value, and the interoperable abilities of the ILP, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong to see that we are on track. I still see people every day claiming that like XRP and Ripple Labs are a huge scam and that Ripple Labs is taking advantage of everyone, et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what? The Fed is called a scam every day. The Federal Reserve is called a scam still till this day, but that has not prevented it from running the monetary policies of the United States for the last 105 years. So, 105 years of scam. We'll see potentially if they can create another scam for that one. 1 year crypto anniversary equals 10 years on the planet. That's true. Intravision is right. Intravision's right. How did you guys find out about crypto? Intravision, I grew up with Ross Albright. I started paying extra attention to crypto when my friend Ross Albright was sentenced to life in prison for the Silk Road. If you guys know who Ross Albright is, then cheers to you. You're probably an old school crypto enthusiast. Who knows who Ross is? Give me a thumbs up for Ross. Anybody know who Ross Albright is? Old school crypto enthusiasts in the house? Anybody? Exactly. TY knows what's up. TY knows what's up. Free Ross. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Moonboy Prime. At least Moonboy Prime knows what's up. Cheers. Cheers, Moonboy. I see you. You saw him on the news the other day. That's crazy. Free Ross. CKJ knows what's up. Free Ross. Woo! That's right. I went to school with him. That's right. I not only went to school with him, him and I sat next to each other in computer lab for years. I did grow up with him. I did grow up with him. That was really, really rough. JNR, do you have some type of like attention disorder, or I'm just wondering like possibly what it is you're seeking from your comments. Ross is one of your heroes. Very cool, Moonboy. Thunderbox, I'm not really sure 100% what he did or didn't do. I don't really know, but I knew him personally, and he was a really sweet guy. He was a really cool guy. I'm just enjoying JNR calling me a scammer, but then staying on my stream. Thank you, JNR, for your contribution. When governments can track money, they will use crypto. Douglas is right. Governments want to figure out how they can track money. Ed French, you're right too. Ed French, you're right. I'll give more of my attention to Ed French. Yeah, he did provide just the open platform, basically. Now JNR can stay. He probably will learn something, and he'll probably become one of our true fans. He'll be like one of the fanboys that, like, in 10 years, he's like, yeah, I've been following you since the one day you hated on me. Yeah. Mo just timed him out, but if he comes back, he's fine. He just wants a community. He just wants someone to interact with. What is up? What is up? What's up, everybody? How's it going? How are you? Feeling good. We ran through the news. SBI's live. IBM's launched a Stablecoin project with Stellar, and we're all kind of wondering what's happening with the projected possibilities for the coins. When moon is the question. Normally, this is about when I start feeling like, oh man, it's gonna take off, right? It's gonna take off. This is when I think like, oh boy, we're about to have a bull run. And if you look, honestly, looking at XRP inside the year, we've had nothing but we've just been going down. Like inside this year, nothing but down. I mean, I'm sorry, not inside a year. Inside 3 months. Inside 3 months, looking at nothing but just a downward slope for XRP. And that's pretty rough because I know for the entire 3 months we kept thinking like it's about to reposition and come back up. And I guess if you guys called that it was going to keep going, then you knew better than I. Looking at the Tether coin issues, the Tether coin printing money, basically the 250 billion released into the market, and that's what scares me right now. Douglas, you're right; it is stable right now, but that's what scares me is that the Tether coin just released that 250 billion like 2 weeks ago. So, pushing hard now. So this is a very strong resistance level. You're right, but I'm afraid that if that 250 million Tether that was printed gets released and they start playing in the market, that we could see another drop. Seeing that if we don't go through 6,800, apparently, if we don't break it through 6,800 or 7, then we might see below 6 is what I was looking at. So moon soon. I know we all think moon soon, but I know we all think moon soon, but really the reality is that potentially a short-term investment, a short-term return is not going to be, it's not going to be that big. You know, like we want long-term. We're thinking long-term. We're thinking long-term returns, long-term investments, and looking at the long for these coins, potentially we're still at a really good spot right here. I can see this resistance level is really strong. I can see us coming right back through this, even if we do drop below it. So I made some big purchases the other day because I just wasn't sure when the bottom was. I was like, I don't even know. So I just bought a bunch more XRP and a little bit of Ethereum. And I was like, you know what, this is fine. I do have some really strong faith in Ethereum still because I think people don't know how great XRP is. People don't know how great XRP and Koteas is going to be. So I think looking at Ethereum possibly to maybe even hold the position of dominance in between BTC and XRP, that might upset some people, but I don't think it should. I think it's fine. Seeing these stepping stones arriving one at a time. So I did make a big purchase knowing that we possibly could slip further down into the red and not really caring, because I do consider that even if we do drop below this resistance line, that we'll come back through it really, really fast. Really, really fast. So even Vitalik thinks Ethereum's overvalued. I agree that Vitalik is right where he thinks Ethereum's overvalued, but apparently that doesn't matter because the value of something is only what someone's willing to pay for it. And interestingly enough, I think that's kind of important. You know, Ethereum and Bitcoin price right now, it's hard for us to perceive the possibility as we realize moving forward, like in a year or two, the conversation shifts away from crypto's a scam and it shifts more to how many Bitcoins are left, or like how many dollars to get this amount of Bitcoin, or how many XRPs are left, or how much to get this amount of XRP. The conversation will be different in a year or two because people will see like, oh, these coins aren't going anywhere. Oh, these coins are backed and they're coded store of value and they're tied with these huge partnerships. But in reality, what does that mean? What does that mean for people that have been literally waiting for a long time for this to happen? No one's gonna see the support and possibilities until it's too late, and then that's when they'll FOMO in. They'll just pile in, FOMO in, over and over again, FOMO'd into these coins because people will start to look at the data. They'll start to look like, oh, nation-state fiats collapse, lose 80% of their value. They're regulated by a central authority, and we continually, in this society, we have like a blind obedience to authority. We're just like blind obedience to authority. And what's going to happen is people are going to start learning how to ask questions and take part in conversations, and they're going to be like, wow, actually, I want to have the ability and the right to have control over my money. That's potentially revolutionary, and that's potentially what we're all doing here. So giving up the blind obedience to central authority is dangerous and immense in the moment because we don't know who to trust then, and we have to trust ourselves, and that's rough. I know it's rough. Taking personal responsibility for ourselves, taking personal responsibility for your purchases, taking personal responsibility for your health, taking personal responsibility for your choices, all these things. Praise Schwartz. That's right. I had to take a break from my rant. Praise Schwartz. I agree. Moon Boys, right? Praise Schwartz. Cheers. We all need to remember we should possibly just start a new religion. We should start a new religion because religions do real well. People love religions. We should put David Schwartz as the new Jesus. You guys down for that? You guys down for that? Let's make a Schwartz cult. I saw someone earlier referencing something cult. I didn't get to see it. I feel like I missed out on all the good chats. I feel like you guys are having a great chat. It's a good time. I created this. Basically, what this is just it's a community space, right? We created a community space for for everyone to communicate and talk about stuff. So someone earlier said make a cult. The only way I'm making a cult is if David Schwartz is in. It's the only way I'm in. What were we looking at? What were we talking about? The emergence of these technologies, the emergence of, look at the Fed. I'm going to look at the history of the Fed and their integration into the governance of the United States. And I think that's going to be a good indicator for why we can see Ripple Labs and Stellar Foundation, all these companies being possibly integrated into the IMF and the world monetary policies. And why, how, what that means. How does a private company get tied to global financial policies? I don't know. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how they decide to do it. I should make a decentralized exchange. Okay. Okay, I could do that. I can make a decentralized exchange. Why not? Tell me more about John McAfee's coded message. I didn't see that. The bank keeps blocking your crypto purchases. CKJ, what are you using? What are you purchasing on? You know what would be really smart? What would be really smart is for someone who had a bunch of money, for someone who had a bunch of fiat, to basically open up like a exchange. Then they could just like let people cash out crypto all day long, and he could just give them his fiat, and he'd be like, it basically would have to be someone who's interested in fiat and someone who knows it's going to be a high return, and someone who has a bunch of fiat and that they know it's going to be depreciating in value. That'd be sweet to see. That'd be sweet to see for sure. Yes, XRP 1000 bones. Yes, please, please, yes. That is exactly what I've been talking about. I'd love to build anything on it. Like, even if I know Weisswind is building that private messaging app that is going to be really cool. So I don't think we should do that. But XRP 1000 bones. What do you want to make? Let's make something. What could we make on the XRP ledger? That's a good idea. What do you guys think we could make on the XRP ledger? Games? A virtual video game on top of the ledger. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. That's pretty much that's a big project. I was thinking about how to find someone in Austin that's actually launched a game before, because I've never launched a successful game. But I was thinking about trying to find someone in Austin that has launched a successful game, and I was going to try to put them together with a team of people, and then contact Coil and Xspring and be like, guys, we've got a team. Let's make a game. Prepaid XRP debit card that goes straight to any system. XRP 1000, that is a good idea. Honestly, that's what I think American Express is trying to build. But if we could build it before them, we'd be way cooler. We could build it before them, we'd be way ahead of the game. Prepaid XRP debit card, it could be international and no overdraft fees. Done. Done right there. That's a really smart idea. Let's do it. XRP 1000, let's do it. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? How's it going? Securing identity is big too. Roger K, that's a really good idea. Securing our identity is important. It's interesting to look at how to do that too. Like, how could we basically secure identities? How could we create that possibility, especially with the digital age? How do we verify someone? I think that's important, and I think that's an important thing looking forward too. Like, how would we verify someone? How can we make sure that they are still verified moving forward? Also, I like the idea of just using it for software, XRP software computers. The debit card idea is good. What is up, Clara B? What did I miss? We covered... I don't think we covered anything new since you left and came back. I think we were just talking a lot about the stablecoins and the SEC on XRP call. Is it? Douglas, don't even get me excited like that. What do you mean Ripple Labs is coming out with another coin? Why? How? If Ethereum was 70 cents in October 2015 and 2 years later at 330, then could XRP do similar action? Yes, I agree 100%. 100%. If Ethereum was 70 cents 2 years ago and now it's 470, or Ethereum was 70 cents 3 years ago and now it's about 470, yes. I think that's real. I think that's a real possibility. I made my 588 all-time high only as a benchmark, really, because we're at 50 cents right now. I'm going to probably wait till we get above $10 or so. I'm waiting for end of the year, $10 to $22, and then I'll make another a readjusted price call. Because I think, honestly, yes, Realtor Amy, yes, I do think that XRP could easily go above $300. And yeah, that's just how it goes. You know, Ethereum was at 70 cents in October 2015. 70 cents, no one cared about it. People were like, what do we use this for? Why is it better than anything else? And then boom, it took off. Now it's 476 a coin. And yeah, exactly. Amy's right too. Like, it's XRP's a stronger use case. It's more likely to be used for bigger projects. So people, I was watching this again. I'm going to reference this Koteas, Stefan Thomas conference. It's not on my channel yet, but I'll post it later, I promise. So yeah, referencing his Koteas with Stefan Thomas, talking about the possibilities of Koteas. You know, companies basically launching Ethereum contracts right now, they pay per write, and they could end up paying like millions of dollars to launch a contract for a big company. So corporations looking at using Ethereum, that's why they probably built out. That's why I think they built out platforms on top of Ethereum. But looking at when they turn around, they look, oh wait, Koteas and XRP has the use case to replace Ethereum, and that'll be a big game changer. That'll be a big moment for the companies that understand the possibility. They'll look at the use of the hosts, and they'll look at the use of the costs, and they'll be like, whoa, it only makes sense for us to use Koteas. And again, Koteas is interoperable, so they don't have to use it for XRP. But what will happen is possibly the XRP coin will be cheaper and easier to use with Koteas. It won't be easier, but it'll be cheaper. And that compounds interest over time. If every time you send a transaction, you could pay $1, or you could pay like 0.004 of a cent, which one would you pick? Well, eventually, no matter how much money you have, eventually you're going to say, like, I'm going to probably stop spending the $1 I don't need to spend. I'll just probably pay for the cheaper version. So that's exciting. Koteas is a game changer. T-Wom's right. Koteas is a game changer. Build a scoring system to value the user's agreed view ships of ads, run the ad approval process at the browser, secure the privacy of the viewer, creates user data to sell corporations. That's also a good idea. Roger K and Roger K and XRP 1000. I feel like, should we just make a company? Let's make a team. Remember how, what was it, Rockefeller? I keep forgetting. Who was it that made Standard Oil? Was it Rockefeller or was it Rothschild? Can't even spell Rockefeller. Yeah, it was Rockefeller. He was did you guys know that he's actually a philanthropist? That's what he's known for. People are always like, Rockefeller, evil family. But it says on Wikipedia that he was actually one of the first people to start the idea of philanthropy. A super philanthropist. He actually helped eradicate yellow fever and something else. Anyway, so where did he make all his money? He was an oil industry business magnate. Basically, he was considered the wealthiest American of all time and the richest person in modern history. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Tell me more about this guy, Cotton Eye Joe. So kerosene and gasoline grew in importance. Here's what's really interesting about this story, and here's why I brought it up in relation to XRP. Because this guy is one of the richest people in history. He found and started improving the refinement process of oil before we all wanted to use it. Before we all wanted to use it. What does that sound like? Who does that sound like? It sounds like Ripple Labs. It sounds like Ripple Labs to me. Building OpenCoin before we even knew about Bitcoin. Building and transferring to Ripple Labs and launching XRP before we even heard of XRP. Building out an oil for the Internet of Value before we even knew what the Internet of Value was. So this guy, he started understanding and refining and improving the refinement process of oil before kerosene and gasoline had even hit as important. So kerosene and gasoline weren't even important to our everyday way of life yet, and this guy was invested. Basically, 90% of the oil in the United States was under his control during his peak. So what does that mean? Yeah, of course, Koteas and XRP is really strong. Anybody that can look at what's happening with smart contracts and with blockchain technology and the ability for a company to jump in and use it, potentially you can say and draw comparisons, as I already have. I've already made this comparison in the past, saying that XRP is like the oil for the Internet of Value, meaning that even if all these other tokens work, even if the tokenization of nation-state fiats with Stellar, IBM's Stablecoin works, they're still going to need the ILP, the Interledger Protocol, to send across. And then, of course, it could be cheaper to switch to XRP to do the send. So again, looking at the compounding interest in XRP before we even have this built out. What does that even mean? And in 1911, the Standard Oil Company was actually dismantled for violation of federal antitrust laws. It broke it up into 34 separate companies. 34 separate companies. So what would happen if Ripple Labs is somehow falls in between? Imagine a combination of the companies, the Standard Oil and the Federal Reserve. Imagine those two together and tell me that doesn't look like a good thing. Tell me, not necessarily a good thing, but tell me it doesn't look like a life-changing, revolutionary project. Tell me that doesn't look like something you'd want to at least be part of. So, what if they dismantle Ripple Labs in the future because it's just too much of a governing authority over their own software? which is not going to happen because XRP is not tied to Ripple Labs directly. We can see that this is where we're stuck. This is why we're stuck here. This is why the SEC is confused. This is why everyone's still in court. This is why the global, IMF and monetary policy creators around the world are like, what are we going to do? How do we do this? No one owns the XRP ledger. Ripple Labs, doesn't control it any more so than anyone else at this point because it's open source software. And you can see that potentially this guy understanding and developing the use of oil before it was important made him one of the richest people in history. One of the richest people in history. So, 1,000 XRP and whoever else, Roger K, was having good ideas. Let's make a company. Let's make a company, the Standard Oil of blockchain. Let's call it the Standard Block. Standard Block. That's what we're going to do. So yeah, Rothschild owns 90% of all central banks. These people are going to have to be on board. These people are going to have to be on board, and that means they're going to probably have to be. That probably means they're probably going to have to be able to make money or benefit from it in some way. So, Intravision says, "Did you see Bearable Guy's handshake in the SBI report? Refer to 120, page 120." I'll go check that out. I didn't see it. He made gasoline on accident, and he got the idea to give away a bunch of his money from a Carnegie because Carnegie was ridden with guilt from killing multiple people through his actions. Johnny Daniel, thanks for that history catch up. Thank you for the history on that guy. Buckle up. Here we come. Hey ho, XRP run. Question, could XRP and a lot of work together, could XRP go to number 2 in 2 years past Ethereum? Honestly, Realtor Amy, I think what's more likely to happen is Ethereum and XRP pass Bitcoin first. BTC dominance fades as possibly Ethereum moves into dominance and then XRP dominance right after. I happily would support XRP dominance straight up the gate. XRP could take position number 1 right away, and I'd be fine with that. But I think in reality that with all the enterprises and all the businesses moving into Ethereum, possibly we could see BTC slide and Ethereum and XRP move up, and then XRP still being developed and understood and researched. People are like, oh wait, XRP and Koteas is better than Ethereum, and then XRP dominance occurs probably about the same time as they're like doing the global tokenization, which at this rate will take a lot longer. At this rate, global tokenization is going to take a lot longer than we expected. So everything can work through XRP and the ILP. Exactly. So no matter how many coins they develop or how many blockchains that they develop and work with and create stablecoins for, they are going to need that ILP payment rail and XRP for their cost to save on costs. And that, again, just compounds interest into XRP. And it, again, makes you wonder why more people wouldn't just get XRP. And again, I think that they will. I think that we're just way early. We're way early. Should we do a GoFundMe to kick off our thing? XRP 1000 Bones, if you're really serious about it, and I am too, and if anyone else is serious about it, I'm going to put a link into the video. I'll put a link right now, actually, to a Discord. It's a private Discord. And you guys we can chat about it if you want. I know that we have an XRP Discord for everybody, and it's cool. I'm not trying to step on that at all. You can message me in here, and we can talk about it if you'd like. Talking about possibly setting something together. I would like to seriously move forward with something like that, and I think even we could do a GoFundMe, but even better would be if we got a real team together and we just pitched it to Xspring. If we had any real people in the project that have a track record of pulling something together, then we could pitch it to Xspring and they could fund it. Again, looking at the real possibility of being able to build stuff like that, we can make like the Zynga of XRP, basically, would be my dream. That'd be really cool. If you consider these powerful people like Rothschild's family, etc., own so much of the banking system, how can people still believe Bitcoin will be the standard? Those powerful people will back XRP. Exactly. Div3La, you took the words right out of my mouth. I agree 100%. Why would people think that they'll back Bitcoin if XRP is going to be obviously tied to the financial institutions, and especially if it's at the position right now where they could take a really good position in it and still make a really good return on their investment, then that's probably what they're going to do. And that's why I think we should be careful to not lose faith in XRP. Just keep our thinking caps on and keep focused on the facts, keep focused on the partnership, and focused on these people that they're not letting emotions sway them. The whole world's up in just like chaos right now. Like the whole world's in chaos. Everyone's kind of looking for some stable ground. And looking at the bubbles from the 1920 collapse, there was the only way that everyone agreed to move forward with a new global or the new national financial system was after a collapse. And they said after the collapse, they said, don't worry, we fixed it. We've got to fix. So possibly will we need to see a global financial collapse to initiate a global financial system? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. A way to resolve that, a possible way to fix that solution. And I've said this before, that Bitcoin might have been the problem and XRP is the solution. So instead of waiting for a whole financial collapse, instead of waiting for a global financial collapse to then initiate a global financial system, they could just use Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the problem, XRP's the solution. So initiating, like, who really made Bitcoin? We all think it's like some anarchos and they're all out just like this free people's money. But if you look at the track record of false flag operations, and if you look at the track record of governments creating problems that they have solutions to, what really just happened? What really just happened? Bitcoin became something that they have a solution to. Bitcoin is a problem they have a solution to. I'm not saying Bitcoin's a problem. I'm not saying Bitcoin's a problem at all. But I'm saying that at the moment, the way the world views Bitcoin is this huge, the first time ever we have a global currency issue. We have this decentralized, unstoppable global currency, reaches everybody. It needs to be controlled. Who controls it? Who regulates it? The easiest way to regulate it would be to create a standard, to create a global standard of crypto. And I think it's going to be XRP. I think it's going to be XRP. And that's just because I'm looking at the facts. That's just because I'm looking at all this information and putting it together. Bitcoin might have been created to give the world a problem that XRP could respond to. Oh, we've got this cryptocurrency anybody can use anywhere. No one can control it. No one can regulate it. We don't know what to do with it. Oh, don't worry. We got a new coin. We got a stable coin. Or not a stable coin, but we have a standard of coins. Wow. Wow, we went way over our time today. Thank you guys for sticking with us. This has been a long live stream, a little bit over an hour, a little bit over our hour. Looking at the SBI news today, though, it was a pretty big day for crypto. SBI live, IBM, Stellar, Stablecoin initiative. So much happening, and still looking at the global markets staying under 300 billion. What does that mean? Where potentially is that next run, and where can we possibly see this next inflow coming from? When's the next inflow? How would we get this next bump? And I know a lot of us are still in this space because we are looking for the monetary gains. We're thinking about how can I make money, but it's looking like we, aside from that, are also right in the middle of a revolution of governance, a change of consensus. So looking at that as an exciting moment for people, and possibly something that we will look back on and in 20 or 30 years and just say, wow, that was a pinnacle. That was a pivot time for humanity. That's about it for today's news. XRP's at 47 cents. Bitcoin can't break 6,800. We have seen about $2.5 billion go into the crypto market since we started the video, so we're up a little bit from this morning. And the big news is that SBI is live and that IBM's looking at using Stellar for building a stablecoin, and Coinbase also got approved to list securities. All the exciting things, big people big influences looking at taking positions in crypto space. So pick your coins and buckle your seatbelts, boys and girls. That's right, that's right. Pick your coins, boys and girls, and buckle your safety belts, because we're about to blast off. About to blast off of here. So that's all we're going to do. I got a video coming out later, probably just talking about whatever random stuff, Coinbase is